money on these things, but they add up. Your grocery bills, especially with our economy, everything has gone up. Inflation has made even cans of Campbell's soup expensive now. So you just have to be a careful consumer not to buy into some of the hype and some of the drama that exists in your supermarket aisle. Isn't that amazing?
True. You know, one of the other things that I've never understood, whenever they say snow's coming, everybody heads on to the grocery stores, and the toilet rolls are the first to go.
Toilet
and I've
paper,
never understood that.
Well, you know, I've solved that mystery, you know, because every time it snows, we seem to go out and buy toilet paper, eggs, milk, and breakfast. So everybody likes to make French toast when there's snow. That's what it is.
It really is?
I think so.
But, you know, people go as if they, you know, the world is going away or something. They buy everything that's in the store.
Well, I think people are prone to being herder mentality. So if they see somebody else do it, then you go and do the same thing. If I see people standing around looking at something fascinated, I'm going to stop and look to see what they're checking out. So it's just user behavior. We have to understand ourselves to understand our own habits.
Folks, Indian Bureau of Standards recently checked on the gold jewelry as well as gold, and they found that there was another metal inside of that gold. It's not pure.
Wait a minute. This is going to make the Indians crazy because all we care about is 24-karat gold, 22-karat gold. I mean, we don't settle for anything less than that.
I think many of Indians know that there is no such thing as a pure gold. But recently I was in India. They told me the Swiss gold is the only gold that is pure. And it draws the highest price, by the way. And in fact, in Switzerland, the laws are such that you're not allowed to mix anything with gold. In the London Gold Exchange, only Swiss gold bars are allowed. Germany, Nigeria, all countries have had problems with gold, but not Swiss. And because of that, their franc has become very expensive comparing to dollars. So people are collecting francs. Their gold is so popular now that what they have decided that they were going to market that. So they're marketing, for instance, in Japan, they're doing Hello Kitty because Hello Kitty is very popular in Japan. Snoopy is very popular in America. They're making these little pendants, and they're also making pendants of Indian deities. You know? I mean, these guys have really figured out a way to sell that gold. And all they do is make sure that gold is pure, and they have the laws to do it, and no other country has that.
It's brilliant. You know, if you're Switzerland and you can do that, then why not attract everyone you can to the one thing you can cling to, your brand?
That's
right.
But
it's just kind of funny that they would have chosen these you know, cartoon figures like Hello Kitty and Snoopy to try to get them to sell. You think the gold by itself would be enough to make it sell?
But see, because an ounce of gold is what, $1,700? These things sell for $160 or $200 or $300, depending on a little bit of weight. But there's one thing for sure: it's pure gold.
And it's Hello Kitty, so it's, you know, instantly fashionable.
That's right.
Folks, after all that news about India's population boom, Time magazine released its list of the top 10 cities that have grown the fastest between 1975 and 2025, what they're projecting. India has 6 of the world's 10 fastest growing megacities.
Wow.
And it's supposedly the 7th billionth person is also going to be born in India. They proved that somehow statistically. But there are a lot of other cities in South Asia. The remaining 4 are also in South Asia. So you look at this map of what it used to be in 1975. There's only 3 cities that measured over 10 million people. There was Mexico City, New York City, and Tokyo.
Yeah.
Now you look at the map in 2010, and you see a lot more dots, and a lot more dots in India and in China. And if you look at these dots in the year 2025, of course, you see most of that growth is still in the southeast region. So, folks, this is just a phenomenon. And the news just continues because Delhi in India topples Mumbai now as a city with the most people. It used to be that Bombay or Mumbai was the most populous city in India. No longer. New Delhi is now, for the first time, it has taken over Mumbai as far as its census data. It has 22 million people, and Mumbai comes in just behind it at 21 million. It's just amazing. The census defines this as a continuous urban spread constituting a town and its adjoining growths. In other words, Delhi just keeps growing outward because of all these new suburbs that have just joined on to what used to be a very, small city.
Just like Washington metropolitan area, but we only have 4 million people in the entire, it's 150 square miles. And Delhi's not that big.
It's not, but you have 22 million people that are crammed within it. It's just amazing. And of course, all those people have to do something with their free time, and guess what they're doing? They're shopping. India's internet surfing and shopping boom really shouldn't surprise people, but guess what? It is becoming the dominant tradition of small family business and street traders, which is what I find very, very interesting. Small shops are now going online. Used to be just big retailers had web presence.
Here in the United States, there's a lot more digital shopping going on. In fact, it started, about 8 or 9 years ago. India has not had that. I met some people over in India. They were talking about it, that we want to make sure that the Indians start shopping on the internet.
They're going to, and in fact, it's already happening. There are more than 65 million people logging into the web in India, and why is that? Because they have cell phones, and everybody's starting to use internet on their cell phones now. India could become one of the top 10 e-commerce hubs in the world by 2015, according to eBay of India. And in fact, India has more than 3,300 e-commerce hubs today. It is just an amazing explosion since actually in the last 10 years, but really even between July 2010 and July 2011, you've seen a very large-scale change. Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore, Jaipur, and Chennai remain the biggest cities in terms of e-commerce, according to eBay. And it's finding that only about 40% of its transactions now come from the other smaller cities. But guess what? 40% is still a pretty sizable chunk. So it's just amazing what is happening in India. And last but not least, if you like it hot, there is a pepper out there for you, and it lives in India. If you look at the pepper scale, there's actually scales of hotness, and the Mexican jalapeno really is at the bottom of that scale. It's no big deal. But there is a chili in India called the baddest chili this side of hell, and it's Northeast India's ghost chili, which is recognized as the hottest commercial chili pepper on the planet, and is 200 times spicier than a jalapeno. In fact, it's so hot that the workers handle them have to wear goggles and gloves to avoid being burnt by the chili. And of course, with this chili, a little goes a long way. And it's a product. It's an actual agricultural product. Of course, they call it ulcer material, but it's called Bhut Jolota, and it's used in everything. This is the part I didn't realize. It is commercially available for export, which means it actually gets used for salsas and spices and sauces. So the next time you're in your grocery store, if you read the ingredients, you might just see Bhut Jolota in there. They'll use a really small amount to try to spice up your salsas and your spices.
There's no medicinal use for it?
I'm sure there is, but there's probably more damage done by this pepper than anything medicinal.
Kill the cancer cells.
Maybe. It's deceptively innocent looking. It's only like, the size of your thumb. It's really not very scary looking, but it comes from a very special tree, and it is now cultivated on commercial farms for export. So India's making big waves.
Well, folks, that's about all we have for you. We sincerely wish you have a wonderful weekend. Namaste.
Namaste.